good evening. So, this Friday I went and saw Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and I really liked it. I'm a big Godzilla fan. I have been since I was a little kid. I own a couple dozen of them on DVD. A bunch of them I had to get online or pirated copies. So, when the 2014 one came out, I liked that movie too. It wasn't perfect, and this movie isn't perfect either. But it almost to the point of nitpicking, when to be honest, because I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Fans loved it, critics hated it, so you know it's a good movie. And I don't consider myself a film critic, just a film enthusiast. So first off, the monsters. The 2014 Godzilla, I think out of like a 2 hour movie, it probably had 20 minutes of actual monsters on scene. This movie was probably like half the movie you were looking at a monster. It was just a big monster mash, kind of a ridiculous plot, which is what a lot of reviewers didn't like that oh, the plot was really out there. And I'm like, have you seen the Godzilla movies? Like, a lot of the classic Godzilla movies had like aliens and nuclear bombs and all sorts of crazy stuff going on, and this one was no different. So I'm not going to get too spoilerly. Just know that a lot of the classic monsters are in it, and some new monsters are in it. If you watched all the trailers, you'd kind of already know that. They did such a great job of making the monsters. You instantly know which monsters are which. There's no guessing. They really did a good job of 2019 updating it. Also, Godzilla's design changes during the movie, and they explain why they did that. And it's really nice when a movie explains everything and plays really good homage to a lot of the previous films. There's so many references, so many little Easter eggs, so many things. The people who wrote this movie, designed it, shot it, did all the effects, must have been big Godzilla fans going way back, because they did a really good job. Really, really good job of making it, fan service without being patronizing, without forgetting its roots. And I really appreciated that. So the human characters in the movie, this was where a lot of critics had a problem with it. Um, I think the acting performances were good, but I think a good actor can only do so good with a mediocre plot and mediocre writing. Nothing was too glaringly like cringy or terrible. It was just kind of flat, very generic storyline and very generic dialogue going on. There was nothing, there was no brilliant performances, but there was nothing too bad. And you got to remember, this is a Godzilla movie, and I think a lot of critics aren't Godzilla fans, kind of don't get the whole genre and how it works, and the subplots and how ridiculous they are, and some minor character developments and the way they follow people. I think the actors did a good performance. I think they did the best with what they could. It was really great to see Dr. Serizawa and some of the other characters reprise their role from the previous film. There's so many sequels now that kind of ignore the first or second film or don't talk about it much. And this one really included a lot of stuff from the first film, and I really like that. So, really good movie overall. I had a lot of fun. And not just as a Godzilla fan, but as a movie fan. Even if you're not, you just kind of want to see big monsters, big disaster movie. Maybe you're a little disappointed with the way the Pacific Rim or the Cloverfield movies have gone, and you just haven't seen a big giant monster kaiju movie in a while. This is probably about the best American one there really is, and I thought they did a really good job. I enjoyed it a lot. As far as a score for this movie, I would say the 2014 was a solid 3-star movie. As much as I love Godzilla movies, I can't overfavor them. I have to be fair. I would say 2014 Godzilla was a 3-star movie. I think 4 stars is a bit high. I think this is a good 3.5-star movie. It was a really good improvement over the first one. But, it wasn't perfect, but I still had a lot of fun. I want to go see it again. Very rarely do I ever see a movie twice in a theater. I want to go to a bigger theater and see it again. I want to go find an IMAX. Also, I saw some really little kids in the movie theater, like 4, 5, 6 years old. That's kind of young. There were some brutal scenes and shootouts and people getting stepped on and just kind of general destruction. I think you'd probably, the maturity level of your child, you're probably the best judge. But I mean, I wouldn't bring anybody any younger than like 9 or 10, just because I think it is a PG-13 movie. Just because it is kind of a lot, and some of the scenes with some of the monsters get real personal with humans, and they're so huge, it's pretty creepy. So they did a really good job of making a giant monster interact with human characters. So just a little bit of word of warning, and it makes it that much better of a movie for adults. So thank you very much. I highly recommend you go see it. Go see it while it's in the theaters, because if you wait till it comes out at home, it's just not going to be the same. Anyway, take care, folks.